So I thought that maybe it'd be helpful to show you how I ballast Kato Unitrack. I'm relatively new to this, but this is the finished product on one half of my layout, and I think it looks pretty good. Right now I'm working on the other half. As you can see, I already started. First thing that I do is you want to get a small paintbrush like this, and it's okay if it's not perfect. It just needs to be small enough to get in between these ties to put the glue for the ballast. Because what you do is you apply glue on there, then you put the ballast on top. You don't have to perfectly brush it in. I just kind of cover the whole thing, and I come back over it with a vacuum with a stocking on it to collect the ballast so I'm not wasting anything. So basically what you do is you fill that in, and then next step after that is you're going to want to use, for the glue you're using, you want to use Elmer's washable no-run school glue. Okay, so the next thing you do after you have the inside ballasted is you take your Elmer's white school glue and apply it between the track and the layout. This helps to eliminate that line between the Unitrack and the layout that makes it look very unrealistic and toy-like. And it also provides a nice little base to make sure that the side isn't too steep. Because that's one thing about the Unitrack, is it can be pretty steep. And you want to apply a liberal amount because you're going to use this to paint the glue onto the side. And I'll show you how to do that now. So using a medium-sized paintbrush, you're going to take the glue and brush it up onto the side of the track. And try your best not to get too much on the ties. You don't have to get in between the ties yet. I usually use a small paintbrush to do that. Same paintbrush I use for in between the rails. You just go all the way down. You don't have to be perfect because real thing isn't perfect. It has imperfections in real life. So I don't get too worried about it, and I don't think you should either. Use a small brush. I got in between the ties. Again, don't get too worried about if you get some glue on the ties, because in real life, ballast gets on the ties sometimes. Then we're going to take a cup of ballast and then sprinkle it on top of the glue. Okay, so I already vacuumed off the excess ballast, and what I like to do is put some tape to cover up the finished part, because you don't want to get any extra on it, because we're going to spray this with Woodland Scenic's scenic cement using the scenic sprayer. Yeah. So next step is to add some extra ballast just to make the sides look a little bit more natural and filled in. So you want to take this, just fill in the sides a little bit. Make the transition more realistic. Get some more stray ballast. And you can fill in any holes that may have occurred in the gluing, because it's not going to be perfect the first time you do it. There's going to be some holes sometimes. you're going to want to take a brush and sculpt the ballast a little bit. Get it looking how you want, because once you put this scenic cement on, it's going to stay put. And I think it's okay just to have some straight ballast, because you can come back with a vacuum and just vacuum this stuff up. So I think that's looking pretty good. Just touch up right here. Add a little bit more to the sides. Because what you don't want is any steep or sudden transitions. The purpose of the base ballast is just to provide something for this loose ballast to grip onto, so you can sculpt it better, and so that when you put the glue on, it's not going to slide down. Okay, so next thing you're going to want to do is take off this masking tape in the center. I just have this part masked off because I'm not ready to do the final glue there yet. Another major thing that you need to do is just get this ballast off of the ties, because that'll be a pain if it's too high and you're cleaning your track later, or you're trying to run trains and gets caught up on it. It's fine for it to be on the ties, but do your best to keep it off the rails, because otherwise it's a bit of a pain later on. Okay, so now time for the final step using the scenic cement. Okay, so you take your scenic sprayer. I like to do the more shower of glue rather than, they have a little bit more of a stream setting, but I just like to use the broader one. And basically, sorry for the finger, basically what you want to do is just really hit the glue everywhere, even on the center, because it'll just help to hold that stuff in that you already did. And the great thing about this is that it already has the this built-in function of breaking the surface tension, so it'll really soak in, make this stuff hard as a rock. It also does a really good job of holding the track in place, because one thing I was nervous about doing this is, well, when I put the glue down, what if I get the track arrangement wrong and then I'm stuck with this wrong track, and it'll be a pain to undo the glue and everything. But this just provides a great way to get it in place, and then once you're done, it's solid as a rock. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys.